Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thanks to each of you for truly insightful testimony this morning. I think this National Family Caregiver Month is an appropriate time to have this hearing and to honor the millions of people like Ms. Brown who are out there providing caregiving at great personal cost. I've seen estimates in my home state of Texas of as many as 3.4 million family caregivers who provided over 3 billion hours of unpaid care each year to secure the health and care of their loved ones. Through the highs of new life and the lows of loss, caregiving clearly can put a life on hold. Family caregivers are less likely to accelerate in their careers, often missing work days or leaving the workforce altogether. We know this burden is overwhelmingly on women. Some economists estimate that it's such a burden that it has affected the level of participation by women in the workforce. I know that from the range of legislation you mentioned this morning that there is no panacea for this problem, but I think one answer that is important is a legislation that I've joined with our colleague Rosa DeLauro in sponsoring to provide paid family leave through the Family Act. For those who receive long-term care outside the home, there are also obstacles within the Medicare system on access to the skilled nursing benefit. It's contingent upon a 3-day inpatient hospital stay. Back in 2015, I authored a bill that became law, the Notice Act, to provide notice so that patients would be aware they'd been placed in this status, but we very much need to move beyond that because of the great financial burden when a patient is placed in observation. Our colleague, Congressman Joe Courtney, has an important Improving Access to Medicare Coverage Act that would address this problem that I hope we can see adopted. A more modest measure related is one that I have filed with our colleague Jason Smith, the Medicare Home Health Flexibility Act. It's designed to provide access for occupational therapists to conduct the initial home health assessment and open therapy. As Ms. Brown's testimony indicates, there is more of a problem here than just the impact on seniors near the end of their life. I think particularly of those individuals who struggle with total and permanent disability. There are shortcomings in our Social Security and our Medicare system in this regard. A person who maybe has to go all the way through the appeal process to acquire Social Security disability benefits then is required to wait 5 months before they get $1 of those disability benefits, and an amazing and inexplicable additional 2 years before they access any Medicare coverage. We need to correct that. There is no justification for that giant gap. And of course, assuring health care, one of the most important steps this Congress has taken is the Affordable Care Act itself. I believe that with regard to nursing homes, which Mr. Blancato and Mr. Mollett addressed, I recently saw a front page story in the San Antonio Express about identifying a number of area nursing homes with major deficiencies, questionable care. One of the things we've seen in emergency care is the increasing involvement of private equity, which sometimes raises cost and is a major obstacle to our action on surprise billing. What impact has it had in the nursing home area, Mr. Blancato?
Congressman Doggett, I am not completely sure on that answer. I'm happy to look into for the record. I think what the other issue that relates to that is to examine the transparency of ownership of nursing homes, because there seems to be a growing issue about chains and opening, and there being a lot of accountability issues that we need to address, but I'll be happy to.
Okay. Mr. Mollett or Dr. Lynn?
Sure, thanks. Well, the investment by real estate investment trusts and other entities that have nothing to do with healthcare into the nursing home world has essentially savaged the industry and I think care across the country. We're seeing that more and more with entities that buy up nursing homes. They have no experience in the business. They sell out the underlying property. There was a case a couple of years ago of one of the largest chains in the country that sold to a real estate investment trust. I forget the figures exactly, but it was something like 7.4 billion, and then it turned around and sold the underlying properties for 7.2 billion, leaving about 99% of the assets gone. And as a result, some of those nursing homes, they went on to other providers that weren't capable of handling them. And this was a multi-state issue, but we're seeing it, that's just one case that was a multi-state issue, but we're seeing it over and over and over again, that monies are being siphoned away from nursing homes and from care, and that they're just being devalued and then sometimes even closing.
Thank you very much.